If you care about someone who avoids closeness, you need to know that love doesn't show up with big speeches or flashy moments. It comes in gently, like waves slowly touching the sand. You won't notice it right away. You'll sense it in the tiny moments, the peaceful breaks, and the times that feel nearly invisible. People who avoid connection aren't scared of you. They're scared of what happens to them when they get close. They've created a world of peaceful aloneness, a shield that protects them from emotional chaos. But when they start loving you, the barriers that kept everyone out begin to shake, and something amazing starts to happen. They begin welcoming you into their peaceful space. This doesn't happen quickly. At first, they'll still look relaxed, distant, somewhat hard to read. They'll observe more than they talk, watch more than they open up. But then one day, things shift. They might mention a dream they remember, or tell you a tiny story from their childhood that you never asked for. It might feel normal, but it's not. To them, that's a precious gift. You see, people who avoid don't unlock doors, they crack small windows open. And if you're patient enough, they let you look inside. And here's the strange thing about loving someone avoidant. The nearer you become, the softer it gets. They won't cover you with sweet words or fill your ears with promises. They will just let you be in their world. And for them, that means closeness. When someone who protects their alone time starts wanting you around, even without talking, it's a deep sign of trust. You'll see they start letting you into their everyday rhythm. They might ask you to stay while they're working, or play songs they enjoy, or prepare food quietly with you nearby. These are the times when their love starts showing, not through noise, but through being present. You may not get it, but when someone avoidant lets you see them messy, exhausted, distracted, or unguarded, it's love forming. Because for people like that, being vulnerable feels risky. It's like showing their soul. It means saying, I trust you enough to see the real me. That trust isn't quick or easy. It's built through patience, calmness, and your choice to accept instead of push. You can't make an avoidant person share their feelings. You can only make a place where they feel comfortable enough to share on their own time. And when they finally do, it's not about the words, it's about the feeling. It's about being asked into the peace they once kept private. It's sitting side by side without needing to talk. It's understanding that you're no longer visiting. You're included in the calm. That's their way of showing love. They don't try to wow you. They try to bring you into their peace. That invitation is their way of confessing feelings. The error most people make is thinking love has to be noisy, packed with emotions, words, and excitement. But not every type of love makes sound. Some love is like air in your lungs. It's there, steady and peaceful, even when you forget about it. When someone avoidant starts opening their calm world to you, they're saying silently, you make me feel protected here. And feeling safe is the most valuable kind of love for them. So when you notice them starting to reveal little things, their best memory from childhood, their worries, their daily patterns, their small quirks, pay attention. These are the beginning of something powerful. Because people who fear getting close usually carry memories of being hurt, misunderstood, or abandoned. Their quietness isn't coldness, it's a shield. And when they drop that shield, it's a treasure. What you need to do then is respect that treasure. Don't rush to force open every locked door. Let them guide you through their inner world at their speed, because every time they reveal a bit more, it's a win against their fear. You are seeing growth, not doubt. Love for them isn't a quick giving in, it's a gradual opening. If you're fortunate enough to be welcomed, you'll feel a change, a type of peaceful friendship that doesn't need focus, just kindness. You'll start feeling like you fit, not because they announce it, but because they stop hiding. You'll notice it in their gaze when they're comfortable near you, in their tone when it gets gentler, in their company when it lasts longer than usual. This is how avoidant people love, subtly, honestly, quietly. They won't tell you through big romantic acts, but through tiny, regular welcomes into their calmness. And if you're truly paying attention, you'll understand that those quiet connecting moments are stronger than any speech. It shows they trust you with their peace, with their aloneness, with the parts they once feared exposing. So when you start seeing that, when the person who built barriers starts cracking the door open slightly, When they start including you in their silence, don't ignore it. That's when you'll realize. That's when love has started speaking softly and truthfully through the quietness. There arrives a time when someone who has lived avoiding emotional bonds finds themselves facing something new: connection. For most people, love feels cozy, inviting, and comforting. But for someone avoidant, love feels like danger, a giving up of control, a loss of the identity they've carefully guarded. When they begin caring strongly, a piece of them gets nervous. They want to remain, but an old thought says leave. It's not because they don't love you, it's because love wakes up everything they've worked years to avoid feeling. You'll see this inner fight most clearly. When feelings get intense, the avoidant person will look divided, one side reaching toward you, another side backing away. Their natural response when things get heavy is to pull back, to find comfort in being alone, where emotions can't reach them. But something incredible occurs when they start loving you. They fight that impulse. They start remaining. Even when their brain says to go, that choice, silent and usually hidden, is the truest sign of love for them. It is their quiet fight against fear. At first, it might seem like uncertainty. They might step back for a couple hours or need time to process before responding. But then they return, and that returning means everything. Because every move toward you, every comeback after discomfort is bravery in action. Avoidant people aren't naturally drawn to chase closeness. They're built to handle it. Yet love makes them wonder. It encourages them to trust what they once avoided, to accept that connection won't harm them. And when they start loving you, you become the reason they begin discovering a different way to live, one that involves staying. It's simple to mistake their silence or space as lack of interest. But love for an avoidant often hides behind self-control. It's not missing, it's self-defense. They are carefully checking, wondering quietly, will it be okay to stay this time? And when they decide to stay, not because it feels easy, but because they care, that's love becoming real. That's vulnerability moving forward. They are discovering that closeness doesn't always equal losing who they are. When an avoidant stays following a disagreement, it's not because they've suddenly stopped being afraid. It's because something inside them values you more than the ease of leaving. They're learning to handle the nervous feeling that comes with emotional bonds step by step. They may not find the words for it, but that work is a statement. You matter more than my fear. And this work is never tiny. It's a silent change happening inside them. You might not witness it, but it's taking place every time they breathe deeply and choose not to vanish. Love for them isn't a quick surrender. It's a slow acceptance. They start realizing that running doesn't create peace. It only stretches out loneliness. So instead of leaving, they stop, they reflect, they attempt again. That pause, that small invisible moment before they exit, is where love exists, because it means they're challenging the old habit. It means your company has started rewriting something carved into them for years. Sometimes they'll check you without knowing. They'll create slight distance to see if you'll remain, not to play games, but to confirm connection doesn't mean harm. The avoidant heart has learned that closeness frequently brings hurt, and so they test softly, without thinking, whether this time is different. If you reply with patience rather than demands, they start relaxing. And each time you answer their fear with peace, they discover that love doesn't need to equal pain. And when they eventually stay, when they remain through the stress, through their own unease, they begin creating a fresh bond, not only with you, but with their own self. Staying is healing in action. It's them declaring, I can experience this and still be fine. The bravery it requires for an avoidant to stay can't be emphasized enough. It's not simply a choice, it's a quiet change. The person who once thought they needed to escape from closeness is now learning that love can be a space of safety, not feeling trapped. So if you find yourself loving someone like this, notice not how much they say they love, but how much they stay when leaving would be simpler. That's where honesty lives. When they sit next to you after conflict, when they listen rather than closing off, when they come back after creating space, those are their methods of saying, I'm working on it. And for them, working on it means absolutely everything. Their love won't always appear simple. It will challenge your patience, your compassion, and your awareness. But underneath their hesitation is a deep wish, the hope to stay and feel secure while doing it. Love for them isn't a comfortable feeling, it's a brave choice. So when you notice them choosing to stay, even clumsily, even silently, understand that you're watching something unusual and precious, because that's when you'll know an avoidant loves you. Not when they declare it, not when they guarantee it, but when they quit running, when they take that shaking step toward you and stay, even when it scares them. That's love pure and wordless, love that's learning, love that's healing, love that's finally courageous enough to stay. You see, one of the most confused aspects about love is that we usually expect it to sound like something, a confession, a guarantee, a statement. We want to hear the language to feel certain. But love, especially from someone who avoids, doesn't announce itself through words. It shows itself through steadiness, through actions, through the silent pattern of caring that never wants attention. When an avoidant starts loving you, they may not speak it, but they'll begin revealing it in ways that are tiny yet deeply important to them. Words can feel unsafe. Words make emotions real, and reality makes them exposed. So rather than saying, "I love you," they might ask, "Have you had dinner?" Or "Did you make it home okay?" They'll recall the little details, how you drink your coffee, what songs you play when you're worn out, the specific way your expression changes when you're keeping secrets. They may not speak love smoothly, but they show it through focus. And focus in its truest shape is love. An avoidant doesn't need to tell you their feelings. They'll reveal it in how they create room for you in their life. They'll repair things you didn't realize needed fixing. They'll silently handle tasks you overlooked. They'll move beside you without talking, yet somehow you'll feel totally understood. This is their way of sharing affection, not through emotional drama, but through helpful caring. They love by acting, not announcing. And this might confuse you if you're expecting romance in its usual style, because they won't overwhelm you with sweetness or big displays. Their love is stable, solid, nearly hidden to people who only search for words. But if you slow down and notice, you'll discover it all around, in how they predict what you need, how they change their routines for your ease, how they begin focusing on your happiness without ever wanting credit. There's a particular modesty in how an avoidant loves. They don't show it off. They exist in it. They appear quietly, not to impress, but to guard. For them, love isn't a performance. It's a safe place. They construct it gradually, piece by piece, through small acts that say, "You're protected with me," even when they don't speak it aloud. There's a specific kind of quietness that people who avoid connection become used to living in. It's a type of silence that shields them. When disagreements occur, when feelings get too intense, their first response is to step back, to find safety in being by themselves, where they can relax once more. Not because they're uncaring. It's that expressing themselves through words feels unsafe. Speaking honestly can tear things open, and sharing your true emotions means giving someone the ability to cause you pain. So they opt for quiet. They opt for space. They convince themselves that pulling away for some time will be better for everyone. Yet genuine love transforms this. When they start caring deeply, something shifts within. The silence that once felt like defense now starts to feel like losing out. That's when something extraordinary occurs. They begin trying to get through. Even though it's challenging, you'll detect it in how they pause before talking, as if measuring each term carefully, concerned it might emerge incorrectly. You'll catch it in the clumsy breaks, the incomplete thoughts, the gentle expressions of regret that demand all their bravery. But that messy effort to reach toward you instead of disappearing, is love at its most genuine for them. Since for avoidant folks, speaking isn't simply conversation. It's being exposed. It's standing bare in front of another being emotionally, with zero assurance they'll truly see you. When they begin loving you, they come to see that vanishing doesn't fix the problem. The calm they relied on now brings ache. They recognize that ignoring tough conversations puts the bond they've carefully formed at risk. And being loved gives them courage to face the discomfort, to make sense of their emotions even if the language fails them. You won't get polished talking from them, yet you'll receive truthfulness. You'll feel their effort, and that attempt means everything to them. It might not feel important at first. A note saying, "Can we sit down and discuss?" or something like, I wasn't trying to hurt you. But beneath those modest moves lives tremendous bravery. Since what they're secretly saying is, I want to fix what's broken, I'm not prepared to walk away from you. Avoidant folks don't typically know how to share openly, yet love educates them that lacking voice can be thought as numbness. So they start valuing truth over simplicity, realness over hiding. It's not about learning all the techniques of good talking. It's about getting willing to face the thing they've always run away from, the chaos of human feelings. When they attempt to voice what's going on inside, they might falter. The way they string words together might not feel natural, yet the key point is they're working at it. They're opposing their deepest instinct to cut off emotionally. Each instance they remain in the chat, when they share what's confusing them, when they ask for meaning rather than bowing out. They're building a fresh type of strength. It's the power of real bonds. For them, talking clearly isn't simple. It's something brave to do. It's saying, I'm not great at this, yet I'm making an effort because you matter. That is what being loved looks like in the realest sense. Messy, unfinished, but true to the core. You'll observe them paying attention better. They'll bring up thoughts they never made before, not to meddle, yet to truly get what you're saying. They'll think things through before they react, not to manage the discussion, yet to figure out better ways to show up. And as they begin acting this way, it's not remaking them into someone new. It's about growing into the greatest form of who they could be. Once emotion teaches them tolerance, moments will come when they draw inward once more. They'll go back to quiet when situations become too much. Yet here's what's new now. They come back more quickly. The space between going away and showing up gets shorter. And as they come back, they carry a gentleness that wasn't evident before. A knowing that difficult talks don't have to wreck them, they can build something enduring. They can be secure. That's the way real feeling reshapes them. It doesn't make them suddenly eager to share or emotionally comfortable. It just gives them a foundation to keep attempting. It swaps out worry for direction. You'll still find yourself meeting them halfway to translate the pauses and get the unsaid stuff. Yet if you're paying genuine attention, you'll find they're learning to appear not flawlessly, yet faithfully. That's what genuine feeling asks from them, and that's what they bring when they're confident. It's straightforward to miss this kind of effort, due to the fact we typically wish to hear feelings stated loud and secure. Yet for avoidant individuals, each sincere phrase, each bridge they make to meet you halfway is tremendous. It's them declaring, I will feel awkward for you to understand. And that readiness, that hushed trying, is what genuine feeling appears as when it originates from someone who invested their existence running from it. You might spot that what they communicate shows up in sections. A text following a heated exchange, a gentle explanation, a reluctant though earnest apology. These instances might appear trivial, yet they mark major development in their journey. Each marks a step further from preventing, a step into linking up. Each represents real feeling, picking realness above vanishing. And if you're watching, if you can sense them staying engaged in the discussion, even if it's taxing, picking words over seclusion, that's when you'll grasp what real feeling signifies to them. It's not about stating every phrase accurately. It's about standing firm when expression breaks down. It's about reappearing consistently, even amid strain. Since for them, love isn't theatrical or graceful. It lives in the wavering voice that utters, let's sit and talk. It dwells in the rough honesty that replaces distance. It exists in the fortitude to face the sentiments they once avoided. And that's when you'll grasp they adore you. Not from the way they voice it eloquently, yet due to the fact that they ultimately pick to voice it. There's a specific type of stillness that those who avoid connection grow used to living with. It's a kind of quiet that shields them. When issues arise, when emotions feel too intense, their natural response is to pull away, to find peace in being by themselves where they can calm down once more. It's not that they're uncaring, it's that speaking truthfully feels risky. Speaking honestly can break things open, and telling someone what you actually feel means giving them the ability to cause you harm. So they pick quiet, they pick distance. They convince themselves that withdrawing for a bit will be better for both sides. Yet actual love transforms this. When they begin caring profoundly, something inside them changes. The quiet that once made them feel defended now starts to feel like they're losing out. That's when something remarkable takes place. They start attempting to connect through words. Even though it's uncomfortable, you'll notice it in how they pause before talking, as though measuring every term with care, scared it might come out incorrect. You'll sense it in the shaky breaks, the partial ideas, the tender expressions of regret that need all their courage. Yet that try, that unpolished effort to reach you instead of vanishing, is the truest love for them. Since for those who are avoidant, talking isn't simply conversation. It's being vulnerable. It's standing exposed in front of someone else emotionally, with zero promise they'll truly get you. When they begin caring about you, they learn that walking away doesn't fix the issue. The peace they depended on now causes ache. They recognize that steering clear of tough talks jeopardizes the bond they've patiently created, and being cared for gives them the bravery to sit with the strain, to work through their inner feelings, even if the words escape them. You won't get beautiful language from them, yet you'll feel their honesty. You'll sense they're working hard, and that hard work signifies everything to them. It might feel minor at first, a text saying, "Can we sit and talk?" Or simply, "I didn't want to harm you." Yet within those basic moves sits tremendous bravery, since what they're quietly sharing is, "I want to make this right. I'm not going to turn away from you." Those who are avoidant don't typically find it easy to express themselves openly. Yet love instructs them that lacking voice might be seen as indifference, so they start treasuring honesty above ease, genuineness above secrecy. It's not regarding getting proficient at good talking. It's regarding being ready to face the thing they've always run away from, the mess of human experiences. When they try to tell what's happening within, they might falter. The way they put terms together might not feel regular, yet the significant piece is they're working at it. They're battling their strongest natural instinct to close off emotionally. Each instance they keep in the talk, when they reveal what's puzzling them, when they look for understanding rather than backing out, they're practicing a fresh kind of power. It's the power of actual bonds. For them, talking openly isn't uncomplicated, it's something courageous. It's sharing, "I'm not good at this, yet I'm making an effort because you matter." That is what being cared for appears like in the most genuine way. Rough, unfinished, yet honest to the bone. You'll find them paying better focus. They'll bring up subjects they never brought up before, not to involve themselves in your business, yet to actually grasp what you're saying. They'll consider items before they respond, not to manage the chat, yet to figure out superior strategies to be there. And as they start behaving this way, it's not remaking them into a fresh individual. It's regarding maturing into the ultimate edition of who they're able to be once feeling trains them in giving. Moments will pop up when they draw back inward once more. They'll return to being quiet when items feel too demanding. Yet here's what's altered now: they go back more rapidly. The interval between leaving and coming back gets smaller. And as they come back, they deliver a gentleness that wasn't present before. A recognition that heavy talks don't need to harm them. They're able to create something enduring. They're able to experience rest. But simplistic. That's the way real experience reshapes them. It doesn't make them rapidly looking forward to sharing or experiencing simple with feelings. It just provides them a base to keep attempting. It shifts worry into path. You'll keep finding yourself bridging the distance to decode the stillness and get the unspoken items. Yet if you're paying genuine awareness, you'll see they're training to be there, not impeccably, yet reliably. That's what genuine experience wants from them, and that's what they offer when they're assured. It's simple to not perceive this kind of work due to the truth we typically need to hear feelings shared clearly and with certainty. Yet for those who shield from closeness, each genuine phrase, each stride they create to come to you part way is tremendous. It's them announcing, I will be awkward to understand, and that preparedness, that quiet working, is what genuine experience appears like when it begins from someone who passed their times escaping from it. You might find that what they share appears in parts: a communication following a serious conversation, a soft description, a reluctant yet earnest recognition of fault. These instances might appear tiny, yet they signal big progress in their path. Each signals a move away from preventing and a move into joining up. Each symbolizes real experience selecting honesty above vanishing. And if you're noticing, if you can feel them keeping in the chat, even if it's demanding picking language over being by themselves, that's when you'll grasp what real experience signifies to them. It's not regarding sharing each term accurately. It's regarding standing firm when expression stops working. It's regarding showing back continuously, even amid challenge. Since for them love isn't theatrical or refined, it dwells in the wavering voice that conveys its let's sit and share our thoughts. It dwells in the raw genuineness that substitutes remoteness. It is present in the power to tackle the emotions they once ran from. And that's when you'll grasp they adore you, not from the root they share it smoothly, yet due to the fact that they at last pick to share it. At times they'll be unable to find terms. Different instances they'll talk in fragmented ways. They might write a message or show up in individual with reddened eyes, and all they'll say is, I messed up. Sometimes apologizing is the whole chat, and that becomes sufficient for them. A couple words, yet those terms mean everything because they're selecting to respond, to fix, to arrive back. And each instance they arrive back, with difficult phrases or even with silence, they're distributing their most real gift. They're showing in the simplest possible way that you're more significant than their fear. That's when love gets to be genuine and strong. It's not in the beautiful words, it's in the arriving back. It's in the try even when the trying feels unsuccessful. It's in the selecting you again and again even if the selecting feels tough. They're not likely to become suddenly chatty or emotionally smooth, yet with time they start becoming more genuine. The gaps in their talking start to include more reality. The quiet breaks begin to become more secure rather than unclear. And you'll start to sense that you're not anymore waiting for them to chat perfectly. You're grateful they're attempting at all. You'll find comfort in the attempting, and through this, something remarkable occurs inside them. They start to observe that being vulnerable doesn't break them. Attempting to contact across the silence doesn't destroy them. Remaining inside a difficult chat doesn't equal falling apart. They're rewriting their entire belief about feelings and togetherness. One moment that stands out is when they do something they haven't performed before. They begin the talk. They're the initial one to recognize there's an issue and go after it. For someone who's invested their entire life escaping from feelings, this shift is monumental. It signifies they're no longer waiting for you to go forward. They're joining in. When this happens, take note. That's not just development, that's transformation occurring. It's the minute they've chosen that managing this, addressing issues, and being present matters more than the convenience of silence. And from this place of alteration, genuine connection gets to be feasible. The distance narrows. The quiet begins to become common rather than vacant. They start to gaze at you throughout quiet times, and instead of turning away, they remain. They remain with you in discomfort, in uncertainty, in all the tricky spots where love examines who we actually are. And gradually, without announcing it, they start to like it. They get used to staying. They start to feel like remaining is precisely where they wish to be, not since they're caught, yet since they've recognized that you're the place they're at ease being genuine. And ultimately, they might even state it. It may not be dramatic or particularly charming. They might say it awkwardly, perhaps only when things are calm and nobody else is watching. Yet they'll communicate in their unique way that they care. Or they won't speak it in language in any way. They'll just proceed continuing. They'll proceed arriving back, continuing to attempt, continuing to grow. And for them, that's stating it in the most trustworthy method possible, because words are temporary. Yet the selection to remain, to work, to face discomfort with someone else is everlasting. That's the ultimate expression of what love appears like for someone who spent their entire existence running from it. It's not regarding sounding loving, it's regarding being loving, not via grand announcements, yet through the steady, determined act of deciding them once more, and afterward again for as long as required. When you understand this, when you observe what they're truly giving via their clumsiness and their silence and their effort, you'll start to feel the magnitude of their gift. You'll begin to realize that their love isn't less authentic because it doesn't sound ideal. It's fundamentally more genuine, since they're giving it while battling everything within themselves that states to run. And that bravery, that selecting you in the face of their deepest worries, that's something that will continually be worth waiting for, worth fighting for, and worth honoring. That's the account of love for someone who is avoidant. It's not what you anticipated it would be, yet frequently it's immensely superior than that, since it's actual, it's difficult, and against all chance it's ultimately, irrevocably theirs. When someone has invested much of their years within protective barriers, the version they show the world rarely feels genuine. It's a carefully crafted appearance, controlled, capable, unreachable. Those with avoidant patterns become skilled at this. They learn early that displaying feelings invites judgment or letdown. So they create a shell, one that communicates, I'm doing fine, I don't need anyone. They've worn it so perfectly that they've started believing it themselves. Yet genuine caring has a method of softening that shield. It doesn't shatter it roughly, it wears it away. Gradually, without notice, you start catching glimpses of what exists beneath. And that's when something extraordinary begins unfolding. When they start revealing their authentic self. This moment doesn't come easily for them. Being witnessed as they truly are resembles standing exposed in bitter conditions. Being open to connection to an avoidant individual feels risky, perhaps even scary. They've anchored their sense of identity to the idea of staying in command. So when they start revealing their unguarded feelings, the irritation, the joy, the hesitation, the warmth, it's not a slip. It's an intentional act. It's affection starting to fill the place where fear once lived. They may not even become aware they're doing it initially. You'll catch small details. A tired exhale after a difficult period. A private revelation. A genuine laugh that seems totally unrestricted. Possibly they'll share something that harmed them. Something they kept hidden from anyone. In this instant, what's happening isn't merely sharing. It's belief becoming concrete. They're granting you access to the unfiltered, unrehearsed edition of themselves, the one they've concealed beneath assurance and tranquility. During most of their years, they've held the idea that sharing emotions reveals weakness. They've learned to compress rather than express. But as caring intensifies, it contests that conviction. It whispers, you don't require flawlessness to deserve love. That gentle voice intensifies each instance they sense acceptance from you. And eventually, they start testing it. They expose a fragment of their genuine identity, questioning if it's truly safe. And the instant you remain present, something remarkable transforms. The barriers start to diminish. You might encounter aspects of them that others never witness. Not because they're attempting to win you over, yet because they've quit the need to put on an act. You'll observe them frustrated, bewildered, hesitant, perhaps surprisingly authentic. These happen to be instances of profound joining veiled as flaws. Once they quit disguising behind facades, they're inviting you in. That represents affection, not the manicured Hollywood variety, yet the version that's genuine, unfiltered, and very human. You might also see their inner emotions, previously locked away, start to emerge in surprising patterns. Perhaps they'll experience resentment, not aimed at you, yet because they're still acquiring methods to handle the overflow of sensations that love awakens. They've invested ages keeping a firm grasp on everything, and now buried sensations are bubbling to the surface. It might not be clean, yet underneath that disarray exists sincerity. When an avoidant person starts to experience significant attachment, they begin processing feelings they'd pushed aside: yearning, worry, gentleness, possibly even possessiveness. These kinds of reactions aren't indicators of deficiency. They're confirmation that they're starting to experience fuller living. It's quite touching to see someone so carefully guarded start to chuckle more openly, interact more genuinely, or just be at ease near you. Love doesn't ask for transformation, it requests being. And as they start trusting that your affection remains constant, that it persists when they falter, they abandon the pretense. They quit projecting steadiness and embrace realness. Yet comprehend this: the moment they reveal their unmasked self, they're taking a major chance. To you it might appear uncomplicated: dash of frustration, a flash of sorrow, a hushed sharing. Yet to them it's equivalent to passing you their essence and hoping you'll treasure it. Your reactions in those spaces will shape what happens next. Should you respond with critique or impatience, the shield goes back on thicker. Yet if you reply with genuine presence, without attempting fixes or making judgments, simply existing beside them, they'll start accepting that attachment needn't cause injury. That's the method transformation occurs for them. It doesn't happen via major revelations, yet through repeated gentle instances of being appreciated precisely as they are. Connection for them isn't merely sensation, it's expansion. And the instant they shed their defenses with you, they're understanding that togetherness doesn't require exposure or devastation. It represents comprehension. It can represent serenity. And you'll detect something understated yet remarkable: they'll mirror your realness. The more genuinely you exist with them, the more secure they'll sense being authentic too. Little by little, the individual who once sheltered themselves in quietness starts inhabiting calm. Their laughter becomes organic. Their face develops warmth. They start reaching for you, not due to necessity, yet due to preference. That shift is the change intimacy facilitates. It doesn't eliminate their self-reliance, it expands their humanness. It communicates that influence isn't manifested in separation, it lives in sincerity. That affection isn't the termination of choice, it's the ability to inhabit your complete being without apprehension. Hence, when you begin recognizing that wall weakening, when the individual who forever appeared put together starts revealing imperfection, when their reactions display not as flaw yet as genuineness, acknowledge what you're perceiving. It's attachment finding confidence. It's a being learning to be viewed. And that's the moment you'll understand those barriers aren't barriers anymore, yet entryways, and they're starting to swing outward. Getting to comprehend someone who resists attachment is recognizing the interior conflict they engage. Throughout their decades, they've learned that needing folks feels risky, that relying on others brings regret, and that intimacy delivers anguish. So they establish an area where they survive completely self-sufficiently, where nobody contains the energy to injure them since nobody approaches closely enough. It's not arrogance that keeps them off, it's self-defense. Yet circumstances change as connection begins growing roots. Quietly, without their awareness, your lack of presence starts bothering them. They develop yearning for you, and that recognition frightens them terribly. It commences subtly. They discover themselves considering you during instances when they typically remain detached. They realize they wish to update you regarding their experiences, need to sense your tones before going to sleep. They perhaps draw toward their keypad and hesitate, questioning whether to message. It's not reluctance motivated by apathy, it's apprehension. Since to them requiring someone mirrors relinquishing power, and having strength has consistently maintained their stability. Picture what takes place when an avoidant begins experiencing deep affection. They are pressured to encounter everything they've avoided: the difficulty of letting walls down, the possibility of abandonment, the unpredictability of psychological bondage. They recognize that attachment isn't manageable or arranged. It penetrates their daily existence gently, like radiance leaking past covered panes. Suddenly they perceive that you've infiltrated their existence without asking, and that recognition that they require you disturbs them greatly. They'll attempt resisting first. They might retreat, act detached, or reason they function better independently. It's not because they're indifferent, rather caring feels unsafe. Their framework is constructed to maintain psychological separation. Thus, when they begin craving your company, finding rest when you're close, they experience it not as relief, yet as weakness. Love doesn't deliver peaceful warmth. It's a tempest that probes their protections. Yet here's what becomes remarkable: they persist within that wind. They transition into tolerating the strain of missing you, as opposed to shutting it down. They start grasping that requiring folks doesn't erode their power. It makes them genuinely human. It's an odd kind of reawakening. The comprehension that self-sufficiency and intimacy function together, that connection is feasible without losing yourself. You might spot them requesting matters never previously sought: your viewpoint, your assistance, your time. It might feel ordinary, yet for them it's monumental. They've maintained for years that they must accomplish matters by themselves. Hence, when they begin asking, it's not casual, it's reliance materializing. It's them saying, "I can depend on you whilst remaining intact." That represents affection in its most concealed form. Yet this modification doesn't transpire flawlessly. Instance will surface when they withdraw once more, swamped by the power of what they're sensing. They might manufacture distance simply to verify they're capable of subsisting separately. It's not to cause injury, yet to reassure themselves they maintain capacity. They'll realize, nevertheless, that your non-existence feels distinct now. Currently, that calm they valued now seems barren, and bit by bit they grasp that requiring folks doesn't suggest relying exclusively. It implies permitting togetherness to coexist alongside freedom. When they start loving you genuinely, they'll want to inhabit your composed instance. They'll desire your existence beside them, not to repair holes, yet to inhabit that area alongside you. They won't voice it, yet they'll demonstrate it via requesting you into their schedules, participating in their tranquility, permitting you to perceive their realness. And the instant an avoidant commences performing that, the instant they desire you existing, regardless of loneliness, that's the moment you comprehend love has grounded itself genuinely. It's a tender development, unfolding gradually. They won't instantly develop bubbly or reliant. That's merely not their makeup. Yet they'll commence expanding in gentle yet meaningful paths. They'll start honoring your preferences, scheduling with your convenience, altering their practices to involve you. You might not catch it immediately, yet these understated shifts signal something profound. You've progressed into their interior group, the territory they infrequently grant anyone access. Caring trains them something unexpected. That bonding persists independently of managing it. That leaning beside someone transpires whilst maintaining strength. The apprehension doesn't terminate entirely. It diminishes, it transitions to recognition. They commence grasping that opening up to requiring you outweighs the hazard with the blessing of possessing you. And with each instant, they permit themselves to believe in you only a portion further. They're changing their complete conception of attachment. Magnificence here is it stays understated and unbothered. It's tranquil, delicate, profoundly genuine. You might not perceive it in language, yet you'll experience it inside the moment they commence integrating you inside selections, via quiet, inside the regularity of their existence. They'll start seeking you not via urgency, yet via selection. They'll desire you not since they're unable to continue without you, yet since life feels enriched possessing you present. And that represents the changing point whenever wanting you ceases feeling risky, plus starts seeming like an advantage. The minute they quit battling the attraction of bonding and permit it materializing, that's the minute affection transforms genuine. Due to the fact for someone who's invested their lifespan preventing attachment, ultimately granting themselves to care for somebody constitutes the truest showing of attachment they can give. So when they commence extending outward, whenever they start requesting your attendance or trusting your assistance, take it seriously. That represents not fragility, that represents strength, affection presenting itself inside the most tender technique conceivable.